Good evening, my fellow YouTubians. As you can see, we've cut apart the back half of the Camaro. She's all gone. And in previous episodes, if you haven't seen them yet, you can look back and see. But we've put a firewall in this Camaro, floor pan, and inner rockers so far. In the end, every piece of metal is getting replaced. As you can see, we've cut it all to nothing. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what I did cutting certain things off, like the rear quarters, because there is certain things you want to do so you don't wreck the inner structure of the car, which is actually really solid on this car, considering that the car was one of the biggest pieces of crap I ever seen. Anyways, Cuckamanua. Anyways, in this video also, you'll see that I'll have a little bit of help from my son Landon. He's my middle son, and he's into this kind of stuff like me. He's actually over there working on one of his projects right now. Anyways, the next thing I want to say is I had my first sponsor. Chris Mills from Easton, Maine has sent me a nice pair of Carhartt pants, brand new, and they fit wonderful. So thank you, Chris. All right, so anyways, let's take a walk around this car. So as you can see, yeah, it's all cut apart. There ain't nothing left of it except for what I've put on for new metal so far. But what I wanted to say is cutting off the rear quarters. As you can see, there is an inner structure right here. Don't worry about this. I got to unbolt that later. That's just for the rear window to roll down. But this inner structure, your rear quarter is going to tack weld to this. And then it's going to weld to that and all down here and everything. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is when you cut off a rear quarter, you want to make sure you stay far back at first and cut it off over here somewhere, so you're not cutting into this inner brace. The first car I ever did, which I'm self-taught, so I didn't know, was my 1970 Chevelle. And when I did it, I butchered the hell out of this, and I had to weld it all back. It was horrible, and, you know, lesson learned. So that's one of the big things. When you're cutting off a rear quarter, you want to stay back. Like, when I cut this off, I stayed back like 1.5 inches over here. And you can actually look in down here and see where this brace is. You can look in down through here when the quarter's on there and see where this brace is. But I stay away, far away. Cut out the big section first, and then worry about all the little stuff. Same with up here. I knew my lead line was going to be up here because I could see the lead over here. But when I cut off the quarter, I cut it off over here somewhere, so I stayed away from it. And then I took it off the way I needed to. So when I put this back together, every one I've done so far, I literally weld the entire rear quarter right to the roof. I don't do this spot weld crap. It's kind of a pain in the ass because right under here, right in back of here is how the quarter goes on, then your roof goes on from the factory. So it's just easy to lap it in there. You see how this is bent in, and then the quarter does the same thing. So and you have to fill it either way. So it's just nice to weld the entire thing. It's that much faster and that much stronger and really that much nicer. Especially if you're going to use any kind of body filler in here later instead of lead. Way less potential to crack than having it spot welded. The next thing I do is down here, to get the quarter out of that, what I do is I take my grinder, because it's all a bunch of pinch welds in here. So I take my grinder, just a 4.5-inch grinder with the grinder wheel, and I literally turn it sideways and I just grind it till I'm very close to getting through the piece of metal, which weakens all the welds, and then I just pick it out of there. So that's that big thing. That's the biggest thing. The rest of it, somebody else has already been in this car at one point and butchered, I don't know what the hell they did over here, but they butchered it. When we fit it all together, I'll figure out what I'm going to do here. But you can see somebody's already been in here before. They welded it all. I don't know if they maybe changed the deck filler panel before, because you can see they cut it. And right here it stops, but you can see it's scored. So they just welded their, whatever they did wrong, they welded it back together. Who knows. Last time the car was on the road was 1987, so car's probably got a cuckamanua load of history, considering that it was a Firebird at one point, or it was born a Firebird. Somebody changed it to a Camaro. I'm keeping it a Camaro. But so that's what we got so far for the trunk. Yeah, so the trunk's obviously gone, which was a big piece of crap. Cuckamanua. So anyways, yeah, that's the new floor and the firewall, toe kicks, inner rockers are in, all that stuff. So now we're just going to test fit the entire car together, and what I do is use sheet metal screws to get it all together, and if I have to move something, I end up drilling new holes, or sheet metal screw new holes in or whatever. And then when I'm all done test fitting and I'm actually very happy with the way it fits, I take spray paint and I spray paint over all my sheet metal screws. That way when I take the screws out, I can see which screws I actually had in place, because it'll be silver underneath it instead of being black or whatever color spray paint I use. So that's how I do that. But either way, let's start fitting this thing together. Alright, so as you can see, it's all test fit together. Yeah, I know this is kind of a crappy video, because I just wanted to make a video showing that I'm test fitting everything, and I'm going to explain a couple things here in a minute, but it is all together. I'm pretty happy with the way it is. There's some things I'll have to metal work a little bit. Some gaps and stuff like that. I mean, everything in the aftermarket, it's not stamped perfect like the original stuff. I mean, you have to work everything. But as far as the way it fit together, I'm pretty happy with it. The biggest thing I do want to say is that if you're ever going as far as I've gone on this, with new frame rails, I mean, every piece of metal is brand new. So it's got new frame rails. It doesn't matter if you have a 67 through 68 Camaro or Firebird. They do not reproduce frame rails for those cars. You have to buy 1969 rear frame rails, and then they do fit like right from the floor up the trunk and around the wheel wells, all that. They fit the way they should, except for they're literally 1.25 inches too long. So 69 is 1.25 inches longer on their frame rails. So you do have to cut off about 1.25 inches off their frame rails. There's guys that make stencils and crap like that. You can buy them if you want to, or watch videos. There's like 100 videos on YouTube on how to shorten the frame rails. So I didn't want to be another guy just putting another video that a million other people have done. So I did shorten them right about 1.25 inches to get them to fit the way I need to. And they fit great. As you can see, I mean, really, it looks great put together. The rear quarter on the driver's side, that one was stamped a little, well, much crappier than the passenger one. The passenger one was really great. The gutter for the drip rail and all that on the driver's side one was more stamped at a quite an angle. It's not like a 90 degree like it should be. It was more like this. So that was some metal work we're going to have to do. I had to make a couple slices to make that work. But everything is, like, all the gaps are good at the moment. Everything's the way I want it to be. So at this point, this video will be over. And when I start making the next video, like, I will put everything, like when we're putting the car back together, I will definitely be filming every bit of that and explaining what we're doing, like when we put the trunk pan in and welding that all in, and the frame rails and all that. I'll explain all of that as we're going to do that. But yeah, this was kind of a hard video, and I'm sorry if it wasn't like the most exciting, but I'm just trying to film and make the whole process like I'm actually doing it here, like you guys are right here with me doing it. And one thing I don't ever say, and I want you guys to, if there's a question that I don't exactly explain like to the fullest, and you are questioning something, absolutely comment or send a message or comment or whatever, and I will absolutely get back to you. I will never leave anybody hanging. So if you need to know something that I've done that I didn't quite explain good enough, absolutely message, and I will get right back to you and let you guys know exactly what I did or what I think you should do. But yeah, so for now, definitely the end of the video. It's all put together. Very happy with it. It's quite cool to see. I mean, anybody who's followed the build right from the start knows it was a real hunk of cuckamanua, and it's starting to shape up pretty good. And well, the garage is actually getting a little bit cleaner in the fact that I don't have like a million parts everywhere because they're all sitting on the car now, except for the nose. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys. And, you know, again, I'm brand new at all of this stuff. I don't ever film any of my stuff or anything, but I've built plenty of cars. I am self-taught, and I definitely want to share my experiences with you guys. So look forward to the next video, guys, because we're really, like I said, we're going to take it all apart and start right from the ground up and put it all together. So, and if you guys have questions, again, just message and I will absolutely answer you as quick as I can. All right, thank you guys very much. Good night. Bye-bye.